Amy and I were going to this is the first train of the day for the Backlot Tour. That is nice because it's like half empty or more. It's one of the best times to coming. So you
our
can
backlot
select
sets
best
are
place.
an undecorated blank. Let's go see a movie studio. Off we go. So I'm Paul. Lewis is driving us around for the next hour or so. We're going to take you behind the scenes of one of the world's biggest and busiest production studios. So let's get the 60th anniversary tour on the road. Here to kick it off is our master of ceremonies and host of The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Welcome aboard the world famous studio tour. I know what you're thinking, why the tux? Well, we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. That's right, 60 years of glitz, glamour, and our own great white shark. As we celebrate our diamond anniversary today, we'll pay tribute to Universal's past and take you behind the scenes to discover why this studio tour is world famous. So whether this is your first visit or your 60th, get ready for fun, excitement, and an experience like no other.
Thanks, Jimmy. On March 15th, 1915, our founder Carl Laemmle invited the public into the movie studio to watch silent movies being made. The guests could walk from set to set, marvel at the new technology involved in filmmaking, but with the invention of sound and the need for quiet on the set, the original walking tour ended. But in the 1960s, under the leadership of Chairman Lou Wasserman and executives Al Dorskin and Jay Stein, the idea of reviving the tour of the studio returned when the Gray Line bus tours originating in Hollywood made a stop at our front gates. July 15, 1964, the first of our red and white candy striped glamour trams took 67 passengers on a 2-hour driving tour around the Universal lot, and the world famous Universal Studio Tour was born. We started with 2 drivers, 2 guides, and 1 ticket seller working out of a trailer on Lancashire Boulevard. And from there, the studio tour expanded with one-of-a-kind Hollywood elements like the burning house and the rock slide, and they were in this area back in the 1970s and 1980s. Today, our studio tour is going to basically be going through 2 areas of the lot. Our back lot, which we're going to drive through later, where we have all the large exterior filming sets. We start the tour in our front lot, where we have our sound stages, like off to the left. Soundstage 12, that's both the oldest and largest stage we have at the studio, built in 1928. That's where we filmed Frankenstein. The inside of the laboratory, where Frankenstein created the monster, had been built inside that stage in 1931. The same year, Dracula filmed in that stage. They had the inside of Dracula's castle inside stage 12. Right now, we're driving in between the front lot, in between the sound stages, and the theme park over here on the right. Like right now we're driving right behind Super Nintendo World, which is the home to Mario and Luigi, the stars of our biggest hit from last year, the Super Mario Brothers movie. But back in the 60s and 70s, this was an area of the tour, and guests would get off the tram. They could walk through the dressing room of Lucille Ball. They could see the office of Academy Award-winning costume designer Edith Head. And in the 80s, this was home to something called the Preview Center, which had a special effects show. We would use people from the audience to come up on stage and help demonstrate how special effects are created. The sound stages we're driving by, these people are waving to you right now. They're in front of the stages where we're working on our Peacock series Bel Air, which is inside Soundstage 14 right now. All the wardrobe for the show is set up in front of the trailers. These trailers are for wardrobe, hair, makeup, the actors and actresses from the show. In fact, these are our next 2 60th anniversary guests, 2 of the stars of Bel Air, Jabari Banks and Ollie Sholaton.
We're leaving the theme park behind and entering the front lot where real Hollywood magic is made. How? Well, inside the sound stages that surrounds us, we can create any kind of environment the script demands.
For the past 60 years, studio tour visitors have driven right by these buildings, and inside these walls, the sets from your favorite TV shows and movies have transported audiences anywhere the imagination can take you, even to a palatial mansion in Bel Air.
When we film Bel Air, we love coming out of the sound stages and seeing the trams filled with excited guests as they drive by.
So, keep an eye out.
You never know who
or what
you'll see on the studio tour.
Bel Air streams on Peacock, which is a streaming service that has a lot of Universal content. Oppenheimer, Universal movie, just won the Academy Award for Best Picture this year. That is on Peacock. The movie is based on a true story. We have a Peacock series called Based on a True Story. Right now they're working on season 2. in these next two stages we're driving by, stages 16 and 17, the show stars Kaylee Cuoco and Chris Messina, and that streams on Peacock. If you're riding with children, it doesn't matter where you're visiting from all over the world, your children are probably going to recognize two statues coming up in front of stage 18. Their names are Bob and Stuart, and they're two of our minions, and they're going to be starring in a new movie this summer. They're going to be coming out in Despicable Me 4, which is released in July.
That is
the
not a Bob.
Despicable Me movies are produced by Chris Meledandri, the head of Illumination Entertainment. He has offices coming up in the bungalows off to the left side of the track. He's going to tell you about these bungalows we're passing by.
In the early days of the studio, these bungalows were used as dressing rooms to the stars of Hollywood's golden age. Now, they're used as offices where some of Hollywood's top directors, writers, and producers work their magic to get a production ready, including my company, Illumination. At Illumination, we've made some of the most successful animated films in box office history, including Despicable Me, The Lorax, The Secret Life of Pets, Minions, Sing, The Grinch, and the Super Mario Brothers movie. And the team is hard at work again as we launch our next film, Despicable Me 4.
Hello, everybody. There's my boy. I know you love your dada. Go on, say it.
Yes, of course he loves you. He just doesn't show it on his face or with his body language.
We've had some really good sequences in Despicable Me movies. The heist of the Honey Badger is now officially my favorite. What it comes down to is the emotional through line. And I believe that that's why these movies have stayed in people's hearts.
Along with Chris Meledandri, Mark Platt also has offices off to the left. He's the producer of the play Wicked and the producer of the movie version of Wicked, which we're going to be releasing in two parts. Part 1 is going to be coming out in November. Stage 25 has a big billboard above the door for Lopez versus Lopez. That's one of our NBC comedies with George and Mayan Lopez. They just wrapped up their second season, so they're on hiatus right now. They have a little time off before they come back to start working on season 3. And we're working on a new NBC comedy, hasn't started airing yet, called St. Denis Medical, starring David Alan Grier. And right now they're working on that in the last sound stage on the corner of the left side of the tram, stage 26. So all these production vehicles that you see out to the left side of the tram, that's for St. Denis Medical. They've been working on Bel Air in some of our City Street sets off to the left side of the tram. This part of our backlot is called New York Street. They're going to be filming some scenes around the corner a little later today. And get your cameras ready for some studio tour history, because coming up here on the right side of the tram, we're going to be passing by the runaway train and collapsing bridge. And the collapsing bridge was a mechanical effect that the tram used to cross. The hydraulic support beams would split and the bridge would seem to collapse. The runaway train was originally located in our western sets, and it used to speed towards the tram and come to a screeching halt. Both are retired effects from the studio tour over 50 years ago. Now this building that we're coming into right now, this is the entrance to Skull Island, where King Kong lives. This is our director of the 2005 version of King Kong, Peter Jackson.
The Universal tram is winding its way through a very rough, narrow trail in Skull Island, allowing the visitors a little sneak peek at some of the wildlife of Skull Island.
So hold on to your belongings, remain seated at all times, and put on those 3D glasses. We're driving right through Skull Island. Yeah. requested to turn off the sound on the tram for a little while for the filming of Bel Air, which is going to be filming on the other side of one of the walls that we're going to be passing by. This quiet section of the tour is going to last maybe 3 minutes or so. I just want to let you know why I'm going to be off the microphone. But I'll play some videos with the sound turned off that kind of correspond to the section we'll be driving past. So I'll be back in just a moment. Everybody, again, we were passing by some of the production from Bel Air. It streams on Peacock. They're working on their 3rd season right now. We've also been passing by a body of water over to the left side of the tram called the Hollywood Ocean, and we had the parting of the Red Sea back in this area that opened back in 1973 based on the film The Ten Commandments starring Charlton Heston. That was a Paramount film. In 1954, 70 years ago, that's the section of the backlot where we filmed our 3D classic, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, starring Rico Browning as the creature, the Gill Man. Creature from the Black Lagoon is part of our history of monster movies, scary movies that date back to 1931 with Dracula, up to the upcoming Dark Universe at Universal Epic Universe, which is going to be opening in Orlando next year. This is where it all began. This is the part of the backlot where we filmed a lot of classic horror movies in the 1930s and 40s, like Frankenstein and Dracula, The Wolfman. We had also used this section for backlot for the comedy series The Good Place with Kristen Bell and Ted Danson.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop, are dead.
Cool.
This location, the afterlife, come on. I have never ever seen this. You're in the good place.
I'm not supposed to be here.
This set over on the left side of the tram, yogurt, 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 with the tables and chairs and the umbrella. This is where they filmed this scene from the first episode of the show.
Can't risk going to the bad place.
Well, maybe it's not all that bad.
How can I help you?
What is the bad place like?
Well, it doesn't sound awesome.
The courtyard that's on the right side of the tram is where we would film the scenes in all those classic horror movies where the big mob of angry villagers would gather with the torches and the bloodhounds. Up on the monitors, this is also our backlot, Little Europe.
Listen now. The monster. He's in the woods. Get out the black house. Raise all the men you can, lock them in indoors, and wait for me. I'm ready! Take your horses and go!
Most of the sets we're driving by are facades. They're outer shells. They build the fronts of the sets, they build the sides of the sets. They're basically empty on the inside. They normally shoot the indoor scenes inside of our stages because inside the stages they have a lot better control over the weather, the lighting, the sound. Our sound stages are about 90 to 95% soundproof. And we're driving through one of them right now, which is currently dressed up to look like a subway station. And there's a track on the left side of the tram that runs the whole length of the stage. They built 2 cars of a subway train that they can roll back and forth on that track for filming. This is currently a hot set. There's a couple signs around the set, hot set. That means all the items are placed where they need to be for filming. So they don't want any crew members, anyone to come in and move the items around because they're placed where they need to be. Oh, hold on a second. That's an earthquake. So as we're leaving the building, the train goes back to the tunnel, the seats go down over on the left side of the tram, that resets before the next tram comes in to experience the special effect. The attraction originally opened 35 years ago in 1989 and just reopened this spring for our 60th anniversary with a complete Hollywood makeover, updating all of our props and movie making equipment, bringing the set into the 21st century. We did have to close off a little section of our backlot today, and it was for safety reasons. There's a billboard coming up on the left side of the tram, Amity Island welcomes you, but the Amity Police Department wanted us to close the beach for a little bit because we had some shark attacks. We caught a shark. It's hanging on display in front of the hotel. Even though we caught the shark, they still don't want us to reopen the beach because there's another shark, and it's a bigger shark, and we haven't captured it yet. It's right in the middle of the water. It's coming this way. Hey! The beach is still closed! Mister, there's a shark! You alright? The shark ate him! Yay! This is a very old dock that we're driving across, so everybody please remain seated. Oh, look at that. The shark took the dock. underwater. I don't see it. Oh, I see it. We were just attacked by a great white killer shark, of course inspired by the movie Jaws, which next year turns 50 years old. Released in the summer of 1975. This shark has been thrilling guests on the studio tour since 1976. That's not the shark that Steven Spielberg used in the movie. Our shark works better than his. When they were filming the movie, they built several full-size mechanical sharks. None of them would work. We're heading into a part of our backlot where we have a classic attraction on the tour, and here to tell you about it is today's show co-host and weather anchor, Al Roker.
Time for my favorite part of the tour, weather. When it comes to film and TV, it is truly a special effect. In fact, to demonstrate how weather effects are created, we debuted our first major attraction here on the studio tour way back in 1968. Welcome to the only part of the backlot with a 100% chance of rain. The flash flood.
Oh, it started raining in the area with the help of sprinklers that we have hidden in the trees. The problem with this special effect, we do it all day. Every time a tram stops, it rains. The set's built on a hill, and over the course of the day, a lot of water fills at the top of the hill, and at one point it overflows. And it all rushes down, creating a flood. And there's been a couple times the flood has hit one of our trams as we're driving through. This morning, we are that tram. So be careful if you're sitting over on the left side. There's a flood coming. Whoop. If you look up at one of the monitors, you can see how we use this flash flood in a scene from our family comedy, Big Fat Liar.
You can't outrun the wolf, Jack!
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I love it! Hang on, buddy,
The Little Mexican Village has been seen in Three Amigos with Steve Martin, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, Nacho Libre with Jack Black. And then once we leave the Little Mexican Village, we cross the border into the Old West, where we had made movies that starred John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Kirk Douglas, Clint Eastwood.
You're just gonna stir things up here. But I am.
Dare you hit that man?
Mine hit the ground first. Mine was taller.
We opened the studio here in 1915. These are some of the first sets that were built on the lot. These were originally constructed for black and white silent movies. These sets are still used for productions. There was a movie that shot out here a couple months ago. Hasn't been released yet. If you like horror movies or suspense movies, you might know what it is. It's called Maxine, and it's the third part of a trilogy. Maxine follows the movies X and Pearl. All three of these movies are written and directed by Ty West for A24 Productions. So there's another film company that had rented out a couple sections of our backlot. That movie is going to be coming out in theaters in July. Other companies have used our backlot as well. Sony used our backlot about 5 years ago for some of the scenes in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a film written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. The film stars Leonardo DiCaprio as an actor who's working on a Western TV show called Lancer, and they shot all the Western sequences out of our backlot. But when they're making the movie, we were driving by while they were filming, We weren't allowed to say what the name of the movie was. We couldn't say who was starring in it. We couldn't say who was directing it. Quentin Tarantino wanted to keep it a secret at the time. We're going to be passing by our Jaws attraction again. We're not going to be driving through the attraction. We're going to be taking another path up the hill. Steven Spielberg had a lot to do with getting the Jaws attraction on our studio tour, and he's going to tell you about that.
The Jaws ride was almost the inevitable result of the size of the box office when Jaws first opened in June of 1975. And that was really the first time I ever got involved in the creation of a ride. It was a great honor to be invited into a creative circle of tremendous designers at Universal that were trying to figure out how to replicate what the movie had done to audiences in a real way by building a physical shark that would come out of the water and terrify tourists as they were sitting in the tram. And the most amazing thing about the Jaws ride is it is exactly as it was from the time it was first placed on the Universal lot. There have been tweaks, of course, over the years, but it is essentially what the designers and myself all envisioned and created. I'm done bashing the shark. Thank you, Jaws, for everything you've done for me. But I will say, consistently, the shark did work much better on the tour than it did in the Atlantic Ocean in 1974.
We have a whole suburban neighborhood on our backlot, some houses that can be used for movies and commercials, television shows, music videos. The second house that's on we've been using for our comedy series Ted with the Talking Bear. Just got picked up for a second season, so they're going to start shooting new episodes soon. I'm going to show you a scene from Ted involving that house, and then after I play the scene, I'll tell you a little secret about it.
Let the festivities begin.
How many we got?
Well, let's see. We got 20 cartons.
Fantastic.
Do you think we're getting too old for this?
Oh, come on, Johnny. We're doing a public service here. If a kid leaves the house in a less than stellar Halloween costume, he's got to get the bad news before he makes a fool of himself all over town. We're Samaritans.
The thing about that scene, it didn't film inside the house. The house was a facade. They just shot the outside of the house to establish the scene, and the rest of it was filmed inside of a soundstage. The neighborhood that we now use for Ted, Netflix had used for the comedy series Never Have I Ever, created by Mindy Kaling. The main character, Davey, on the show lived in the yellow house on the right, the same house that Susan lived in Desperate Housewives, which used the street as Wisteria Lane for 8 seasons.
If there is one thing everyone in Suburb
Now, if you're fans of the Back to the Future films, you're going to recognize the time machine from the film over on the left side of the tram, right in front of the Lion Estate statues. Those statues were placed on the corners of the street that led to the McFly house where Marty and his family lived. Those signs are replicas of the original Lion Estate statues, and those were created for the first film's 30th anniversary. One of the executive producers of the film was Steven Spielberg, and right now we're driving up Steven Spielberg Drive. We have a long relationship with the Academy Award-winning director that goes all the way back to the beginning of the studio tour.
My entire career began with my relationship with Universal Studios just as a high school kid on a tour bus. Remember, in those days there weren't trams, there were buses called the Gray Line Tour Bus. And I was so excited and thrilled to be on the lot. This was my first time ever on a movie studio lot. And during a bathroom break, I hid in the bathroom, and when everybody left to get back on the bus, I waited another 15 minutes until I'm sure the bus left, and then I had the entire lot to myself that day. And in those days, movie lots were so crowded because all movies were made on film lots. Today they're made all over the world, on locations, but most of it was focused in those days, in the 60s, on the film lots. So nobody noticed me when I was going around from soundstage to soundstage, and I really felt, in my own young way, I owned the lot. and had the most amazing day of my life.
Appropriately, at the end of Steven Spielberg Drive, we have a set from one of his movies. This airplane crash set was built for the filming of Paramount's War of the Worlds, which Steven Spielberg directed with Tom Cruise. The houses on the left side of the tram, these are clearly facades. They're just one or two sides. The airplane is not a facade. That was a real plane. When they're making the movie, they got a full 747 and they did that to it. That was somebody's job on the set of War of the Worlds, to rip an airplane apart. Right in front of the crashed airplane, also on the right side of the tram, we're coming up to a set that's been a highlight on the studio tour since it first started back in 1964. Norman Bates' home from Psycho. The film starred Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates, Janet Leigh as Marion Crane, and the film was directed by the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. And just beyond the Psycho house, also on the right side of the tram, we're going to be passing by our official scale model replica of the Hollywood sign. And as Universal celebrates its 60th anniversary studio tour, the Hollywood sign is celebrating its 100th year. For the first few decades of the studio tour, one of our hallmarks was a visit to Prop Plaza, where guests disembark for once-in-a-lifetime photos and to interact with characters, vehicles, and props from their favorite productions. And just for our 60th anniversary, we brought that opportunity back. There are plenty of photo opportunities, and you can enhance them with the Universal Cinematic AR filter that puts you into a digital environment inspired by one of Universal's iconic motion pictures. Just scan the QR codes found on the 60th anniversary signs for Jaws and King Kong, or visit the effects page on the Universal Studios Hollywood Instagram profile and create your own iconic Universal experience. Please remember, this is a limited stop. When you're ready to continue your tour, simply follow the signs. You may be boarding a different tram with a different tour guide, so make sure you take all of your personal belongings with you and your 3D glasses. You're going to need them when you continue the tour. Take some pictures, have fun, have a good time. Just get back on the tram when you're ready. You're welcome. Thank you. has written and directed 3 hit films for Universal: Get Out, Us, and Note. He took the tour when he was just 12 years old, and he's going to tell you about his experience with that.
I remember going to Universal Studios when I was 12 years old, feeling this feeling of wonder. You know, one of my first trips at Universal Studios, seeing the Jaws ride, one of my favorite movies of all time. Just feeling like, that's him. That's the Jaws. Like, I don't even know if that is the Jaws. I hope it is. Sharing a space with Hitchcock and Spielberg, I couldn't be more proud.
Let's go, baby! Let's go!
We have a set on our backlot from one of Jordan Peele's films. Coming up over here on the right side of the tram, this is the little town of Jupiter's Claim, and it was built for the filming of Nope. We're going to stop in the middle of the set just for a few moments, allowing you time to get some pictures of the area. I'm going to bring back Jordan Peele, and he's going to tell you about Jupiter's Claim.
Movie magic only happens when a team of collaborators, often in the hundreds, work together to take an impossible notion and bring it to life. This is Jupiter's Claim, a nostalgic, small-time Southern California amusement park owned by former child star Ricky Juke Park. Over there, look into the winking well and have your picture taken just like the kids in that old 90s movie Kid Sheriff. That's what this whole place is loosely based on. Remember that one? No? Well, I didn't. A little further down, you can see the brand new Star Lasso experience, built to showcase an unbelievable new live show. It's not looking so live anymore. Anyway, behind this Hollywood fantasy of a gold rush frontier town lies a sinister secret. It is smack dab in the center of the European hotspot. What's a bad miracle? Welcome to the world of New.
We're just stopping for a moment, allowing you time to get some pictures of the set. Now, once we leave the set of Jupiter's Claim, we're coming into a part of the backlot where we once had an attraction on the tour called the Doomed Glacier Expedition, better known as the Ice Tunnel. And it was featured in an episode of The $6 Million Man with Lee Majors. The episode had Andre the Giant as Bigfoot. Now, back then, the tram would climb to an imaginary elevation of 12,000 feet, and the only way to get back into the theme park was through the ice tunnel, where the slightest sound could create an avalanche, and always did, causing the walls to spin and all the guests on the tram to kind of tilt along with the Hollywood special effect. Whenever we would drive through the ice tunnel, we would drive through very slowly, trying to prevent the avalanche. But today we're going to drive through very fast, as it's now the home of the Fast and Furious Supercharged. So everybody, please remain seated while we're in the building. Here's one of the characters from Fast and Furious. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Roman Pierce. Pleased to meet you. My buddy Hobbs asked us to stash you from Shaw for a while. So we brought you in our secret spot.
Alright, look guys, we're gonna keep Shaw from finding you, but to keep you safe, we need your help. We don't want the syndicate tracking us here, so put away your cameras and turn off your cell phones. One flash or one ringtone can give us away.
I need y'all to take this real serious.
Okay, pull into the next bay and we'll meet you in there.
They want us to move farther into the building. There's no need to put on your 3D glasses. Right now, we're just gonna hide until it's safe for us to go back outside. This actually works out in our favor. They brought us here to hide. There's a party in the building. supposed to be doing?
This is what we doing. This is the race day after party. And what other?
Roman Pierce, FBI, don't move.
Bill?
That's right, party's over.
You know how long I took to iron this shirt, man? I'm not.
You're under arrest right now.
Ladies, just back up a little bit. I got it. It's lightweight. First of all, I don't work for you.
Oh, really? Well, tell me, Roman, who do you work for?
We don't work for nobody. Cop, I suggest you clear out of here, otherwise we can't guarantee your safety.
Guarantee my safety? I'm the one holding the gun.
Yeah, but mine's a whole lot bigger than yours.
Hobbs, escort this novice out.
Let's go, Cookie Puss.
You got an ugly suit on, man. It's cheap.
Somebody out there really pissed off Shaw. It's gonna get ugly fast.
Yeah, don't worry. Lucky for you, our whole family will protect you.
Are you kidding me, Roman? You didn't shut off your phone, bro?
I gotta call you back. I'm in the middle of something.
See what I'm talking about?
Call you back. It was on vibrate.
Short trace this. Cops can't hold him forever. Letty, Roman, we're up. Try to move that vehicle.
It's about to get real interesting. My Mona Lisa's all warmed up right next door.
Roman, grab your truck. I need you and Letty ready to roll.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna go catch up with them. This is a good time to put those 3D glasses on. Get ready, because according to what Don just said, Owen Shaw's getting pretty close to finding us.
Which one of you is the witness? Speak now or you all get fried!
This is our turn.
Pass around!
Okay, guys, it's showtime. Come to the left. This thing ain't moving fast enough. Roman, Letty, hook him up. Now we're moving.
Dad, look out! You give me the witness to record and call it a day! The witness is mine, Letty!
How about you eat asphalt?
Don't think you're getting away!
Way to go, Letty.
Don't line up the missile shot!
Not gonna happen. Don't worry, I got this.
Roman, don't shoot! Head off the bridge! Under construction! Everybody hold on!
Hit the nitrous.
We're not gonna make it!
Ride or die.
That is Fast and Furious to the charge. One last time, I'm going to turn things over to Jimmy Fallon.
Over the past 6 decades, the studio tour has taken guests on an amazing behind-the-scenes look at a movie studio in a way that only Universal can. I hope that you've had a great time today, and on behalf of everyone at NBC Universal, thank you for joining us to celebrate our diamond anniversary. Here's to another 60 years.
Thanks, Jimmy. I want to thank all of you for celebrating 60 years of the studio tour with us. The studio tour is where it all began for Universal destinations and experiences. From two glamour trams drive around the studio lot in the summer of 1964, we've developed into so much more, including 7 parks entertaining millions of guests every year, to the upcoming Universal Epic Universe, which is going to be opening in Florida next year. I want to acknowledge all the studio tour ambassadors, drivers, studio tour guides over the years that have helped make the tour world famous, from our first 4 guides and drivers to the hundreds of team members that support the tour today. To our past members, thanks for coming back and joining us again today. If you're not a past member, and you'd like to be one, stop by the Universal box office, find out how you can upgrade today's ticket into an annual pass. It allows you to come back and join us again and again. Make sure you've downloaded the Universal Studios Hollywood app. That's going to give you today's park hours, wait times, mobile food ordering, and so much more. If you want to purchase any of the NBC Universal movies or shows I've talked about on the tour, visit uphe.com or ask at any of our retail stores. On behalf of our driver, Lewis, myself, Paul, and all of us here at Universal Studios Hollywood, we hope you've enjoyed our exclusive behind-the-scenes experience that's been 60 years in the making. As they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap. Thanks for taking the tour, everybody. We stay open till 7. Have a good time today. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good time. I had so much fun. I'm going to go do it again.
Where are we all from?
1978.
1978. Great Scott. But where? Where in 78?
Utah.
Now, is that 1 hour in the future?
Yes. Yeah.
About, I
yeah,
think.
we travel sometime. Yeah.
Well, goodness.
Where are you going to travel?
To the future.
So this tour was different from your usual.
Right. There were places we could walk out. We could take pictures. That was so fun to be able to just wander around.
It did. And the path what they took, it's a little bit different from usual because we did not went to the cars. You know, they have a collection of the cars like in the previous, so we did not went to there.
So that means we didn't get squirted at by the dinosaurs.
Yes.
The Jurassic.
The Jurassic ones we did not.
Things.
So some portion they skip it, but I think edition of the sets and everything gets way better.
And the earthquake set is working now.
Yeah, I always saw earthquake set before in another, like people explain or promos, and I'm like, oh, I need to see this earthquake. And I was sad when last time it wasn't here.
Yeah, they hadn't had it for a while.
And I'm glad they actually brought back that because it's such a Hollywood experience with this earthquake in Los Angeles.
And I think when I was growing up, there was a show, I think it was called Earthquake. It was a mini-series. Maybe it was a movie they put on TV and it took 2 days, but mini-series would be like a show that's longer than the 2 hours that they could do it, so maybe it's 4 hours and they put it over 2 or 3 different nights.
For me, it's probably, this is the best way to experience earthquake in LA.
Well, yeah.
I don't want to experience it a lot. Exactly, but this one is the best way to experience.
Oh, absolutely. Look, we have the glamour tram behind us. That was the original 1960s kind of.
The red, it's nice they brought back. People can try them.
I think I've seen it before, but yeah, it does.
But we went on the modern, electrical.
Yes, we went on the electrical one. I think most of them are electrical, aren't they? So if you like that aspect of it, the videos that we make, hit the like button and subscribe.
And share with your friends.